Creativity is an addiction. Sure, I was awake at 2 o'clock this morning. My mind was activated and it wanted attention. So I relied on meditation. And then I was awake at 3:15. And then again at 3:45. Creativity takes over your mind, body, and soul, and you've got to learn how to work with it and understand it and to keep it calmed down during those moments when you should be resting. Unplugged, because we will always say yes to creativity. Totally uncut, because we all make mistakes. So turn it into a tool. This is Arroe Unplugged. Oh, my eyes. They're scanning the entire room this morning. They seek information. If I'm not staring at objects, I'm reaching for that darn smartphone. I mean, there has to be a headline somewhere that I've not read yet. All of it is useless information. I can't change anything in the government, so why do I keep going back to the headlines? I can't do anything about the gas prices going up, so why do I keep going back to the headlines? What about that high-speed chase? There's always got to be one somewhere in this country. I'm glad I'm not there. But why do I have to go to those headlines? News outlets know exactly what they are doing and how to keep people coming back. It's a formula. See, in radio, we call it the format. So much research goes into creating the attraction to make it a connection, which leads to re-attracting the attention of the listener. The attention, it's over and over and over again, which has to be pretty tough to do during this new day of normal because the human need isn't 100% based on old habits. This society that we're currently in has been designed to buy the latest and most attractive. What works today is not going to be tomorrow's fad. The power of choice leaves that door wide open for a meandering discovery. Who is truly telling this story? Is it our hearts or is it our eyes? I think sometimes it's the content that we're putting inside both of them. Hey, it's Arroe. This is The Daily Mess, a chronological walk through an everyday world. I am a daily writer. I write about what is moving through this place called now. And so many times we can relate. We're on the same page. Other times, whoa, that guy on that podcast, he's a little weird. I can't deal with him today. He's carrying a vibe that I'll come back a different day, or I'll go search for a different episode. It's about making connections. It's about relating. It's about sharing. It's about you. Because if this is what's moving through me, I think there's a big chance it might be moving through you as well. So we're creating a connection. This is The Daily Mess. One of those connections is a very serious subject, and I think that we really need to pay very close attention to it. Self-diagnosing our mental conditions. Self-diagnosing our mental conditions. You know, I don't think it's a great way to find the way. There's professionals that need to be contacted. Because if you self-diagnose your mental conditions, it's not always the best behavior that you're going to jump into. And this isn't a knock against books of motivation. It's not a knock against, those other books that barely scratch the surface and actually kind of cause an injury because things start to change and you're going, no, I'm not going to embrace this. The self-diagnosed mental challenges. It's almost as if we've given ourselves permission to be broken, to set aside the tools that are required to remain aware and to be sharp with our thinking. I'm amazed at the number of online mental health healing sites there are these days. To make them so accessible sounds like a brilliant connection and the right direction, right? But it also reminds me so much of the addiction that took place back in the 1980s when all you had to do was pick up the phone and there was a psychic on the other side. I mean, even the Reagans, President Ronald Reagan and his wife, they had their stars read. Google makes it too easy to self-diagnose our mental conditions. This feels wrong. And I got to be honest with you, I'm not in the business of self-diagnosing anybody, not even myself. Now, is that leadership or selling ourselves short? Do most people go into hiding because locating a professional to help you is always going to be, expensive, and seeing them means seeing changes in you? Self-diagnosing your mental conditions. Now, I have been very, very honest and transparent with you. about how I journal, and journaling came from my adventures with Julia Cameron, The Artist Way. I have studied and lived out every one of her books, and I've actually talked with Julia Cameron. And as a creative mind, writing is something that really helps me with the stability in my mental conditions. But in November of 2017, doing morning pages wasn't helping out the character in the afternoon. I had to develop a different set of journals that I call defrag journals, where I break down everything. And if I'm not keeping that defrag journal healthy, then something is building up. Now, that's how I work. That's how I'm able to handle the mental conditions, through meditation, prayer, writing, and being open and transparent with how I am and where I am. But then that doesn't make me perfect, because I'm far from that. What I do is I will step into something like right now. I'm not in the mood to want to go to work today. I'm just not in the mood. And it's like, so therefore the inner child in me, or the inner, critic is going, well, aren't you a loser? And see, the battle starts right there. Aren't you the loser? What? Now you decide that you don't want to go to work? You. It's one of those things where you just kind of beat yourself up mentally. And does it show up in the daily writing? Absolutely, because that's the transparency. And that's the one thing that I would love to help open the door for you to understand. Keeping a daily journal or writing every morning, such as the morning pages or even a defrag journal in the afternoon, keeping those pages can be very private for you. But it's when you learn to just set the writing out there where anybody at any time can come by and just read it, where you start beginning to put yourself on a different journey. Sure, you could walk into my house and go into any journal you want. I'm not hiding anything. It's a conversation with what is happening in the presence of now. I'm not saying go out and do this. I'm just saying grow in that direction. Because there's times in your own family and your friends, they're going, God, what has gotten into this person? What the hell is going on? So my answer has always been, go read the journal. It's right there. I speak to that because this journal has not reached out and bitten me. Let's talk about it. Let's grow. Let's really put ourselves in a position of, let's go talk to a professional. Let's start a journey of healing, but let's stick to that journey of healing. You can't be fixed in 7 days. I've been a daily writer for 27 years. I still don't know who the hell I am. Maybe one day. I'm Arroe, and that's The Daily Mess.